Hey, everybody, welcome on back. It's the Rubbin is Racing podcast. It's with me, Large. It's with Spider, who's at his home right now in his new, I don't know.
Streaming headquarters, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
haven't streamed from here once yet, but it's nice having a little office here.
Yeah, the content pod. You got the rig next to you and whatnot. And then we got Moonhead at an undisclosed location. Jacob will be behind the ones and twos. I didn't even have anything made up for Quigs, to be quite honest with you. Oh, Quigs is he's driving the hauler for Catherine Lake, getting that car out to Las Vegas. So good for Quigs. We'll probably see him next week. This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Flash IV. Flash IV delivers faster, longer lasting hydration with over 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes. No artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners like those other drinks. So whether you're training, traveling, or just feeling the heat, work hard. Hydrate hard with Body Armor Flash IV and grab yours today at your local 7-Eleven's convenience store. And we're also brought to you by Blue Chew. Guys, enter the room dick first. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. It's not sex anymore, it's a superhero origin story. The Girthinator rises coming near you. Guys, this isn't just about performance, it's about legacy or third legacy. Give her group chat something to talk about. You know, when you lay it down, they're talking about how it gets up. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code Rubbin at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to bluechew.com for details and safety info. And big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast. A little new one from Blue Chew. The Girthinator rises
I
coming
like that one.
near you. Yeah, they tend to go
It's a
wilding
nice
on that.
touch.
Welcome on back, everybody. We have Joey Logano. He'll be coming up in just a couple of minutes. So he's always pretty gracious with his time and joining us. Got a little update, and I'm sure other people have already seen it, but Reddick's kid seems to be doing better, even though what's going on with him seems still fucking scary as shit. But for people who didn't pay attention, Tyler's youngest son, rookie, newborn, was having some heart problems, and they were obviously extremely very worried. So they were in the NICU or the ICU with the baby, and it winds up it's more of a tumor that's choking the renal vein and renal artery, so dealing with the kidneys. So it's telling the heart, "Hey, I'm not getting enough blood. Pump harder." That's the quote from Reddick's wife, Alexa, right? Alexa. I can never get that right. But so now the 4-month-old will need to have a kidney removed because doctors determine it's no longer functioning. And I know people live long, happy lives with only one kidney, but I'm sure for parents who are going through it, man, that must be a tough road to hoe. So shout out, thoughts and prayers, just good mojo heading towards the Reddick family because they're just great fucking people.
Yeah,
And while I'm bringing the whole room down, I might as well mention, do you see Suarez's wife?
I did. I mean, this is crazy.
Holy shit.
Look, he posted a photo basically saying that she was in a car accident, and it looked really, really gnarly. So I'm glad they're all right. But yeah, a lot of scary stuff going on in the NASCAR world.
Yeah.
Glad Julia is okay.
Yeah, it's in a Chevy Blazer. And Daniel's quote is saying, "This car saved the lives of my wife, mother, and mother-in-law. Yesterday was a very scary day. Today I'm just so grateful that they're alive." And to Spider's point, the picture they sent is actually like an ad for Chevy.
It
Because if
should be.
those ladies came away unscathed, something was helping out. I don't know if you guys believe in God or not, but something was helping out. And also Chevy kind of kept them a little bit safe. I don't mean to make light of it. And I hope that everyone comes away absolutely untouched. So sending some good mojo their way as well. Let's get on to something a little bit more light to talk about. That's racing. Results from last weekend, kind of chalky. Corey Heim stuffed into the barrier on lap 1, drives back to second, then takes the win in overtime. So 10 wins on the year, a Truck Series record. Connor Zilic, same thing, picks up his 10th Xfinity win of the season at the Roval. I don't want to like bury the lead, but we're going to talk to Joey Logano about Connor Zilic because I need to know whether or not somebody like Joey is drinking the Kool-Aid as much as everybody else is, or whether or not a guy who like Joey, who's coming to the league also at a very, very young age, is going to be like, pump the brakes. This is going to be a huge transition for the kid. Let's wait and see, because everybody else thinks that it's almost a given that this kid's going to win a race next season. At the very least, this kid's going to win at least one race next season. So we'll talk about him with that. But congratulations to Corey and to Connor. Corey has nothing this week. Trucks are off. They pick up again next week, and then Xfinity will mirror the Cup schedule for the rest of the season. And then it's just the SVG show. Shane Van Gisbergen captured the checkered flag by over 15 seconds, securing his 5th consecutive road course win of 2025 Cup season. And as a result, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, and Austin Cindric are fucking eliminated. I want to ask you guys a question, because I wound up listening to the radio quite a bit. And, I'm not really fond of that one guy on the radio, Dave Moody. I think I told you guys he put me in short pants once when I called in. So it's all personal. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. But Mike Bagley, who I don't know, Mike Bagley does a show with Pete Pistone on Sirius. So when I'm in my car, I can listen to those guys. And maybe Pete Pistone was out, so they had the dude from the Teardown on it, Jordan Bianchi. He goes around and does all those shows too. And Bagley had asked Bianchi what grade he would give SVG for this season. And Bianchi's like, I'm not sure an A+ is right. And I expected him to maybe get past the first round just with all the points he accumulated during. I'm going to give him an A-. And as I was listening to it, I was like, Jordan, you fucking idiot. This guy's an A all the way. And then Mike Bagley gets on and says, I'm going to give him a B-. And they had a special guest on, this guy, Chris Rice from Call It Racing. And Chris Rice was like, yeah, I agree with that. Is there a fucking universe where it makes sense to give a guy like SVG, a guy that I pretend to hate on this show every week, but to give him anything less than A+ and a hand job for the job that he did for Trackhouse this year? Can you? And the idea behind it with the Bagman and Chris Rice and anyone else who was agreeing with it was that he's not perfect on ovals yet. Like, he doesn't have that in his bag, even though he's getting better. So they dinged him for it. But I think if you're looking at a rookie season, that's this guy's rookie season, and to have 5 fucking wins and then pull off a top 10, on a heavy tire wear track, which indicates to me the next thing this guy is going to fucking dominate is probably going to be heavy tire wear tracks. He's going to be extremely dangerous. I think Justin Marks probably got an SVG tattoo, and these other guys are giving him fucking B-. Explain to me why you think that would be something that a human being would say at any point in their life.
Yeah, to me, I'm with you, Large. I don't
Oh,
think
yeah,
that
good.
I don't think that makes sense. I think he is an A driver, A+ driver. I mean, obviously, we knew it was gonna take him a while to kind of come around on ovals, but that was never the intention. He was brought in to compete on the road courses and make Trackhouse competitive, and I think he's done that. I think if you're Trackhouse, you're looking at your future and you have champagne problems. Poor Daniel Suarez is going to be without a ride because they have too much talent on their team, especially when it comes to road course racing. With next year with Zilich and SVG, I know we're talking about SVG's performance, but I'm
Yeah.
saying
Please, no.
Trackhouse overall is in a great spot. The only road course where SVG didn't win, if I'm not mistaken, this year was
Coda?
was Coda, and he
Yeah.
finished 6th. And I think I remember asking him when he came on our show, I said, which road course are you least a fan of? And he said Coda. So that's no surprise, but I don't know how anyone would be disappointed with SVG. Like to me, he's exceeded all expectations. He's got the reps like he did in Xfinity last year, and then this year in Cup, he's done what he was hired to do, which was win road course races. I think they only get better from here with the addition of Connor Zilish next year. So I'm excited to see, and I think those guys were being a little bit too critical on him. But then again, I'd like to hear someone like Moonhead's take, who's a little bit more veteran and might be willing to kind of justify some of their opinions.
Moonhead, can you be devil's advocate, since me and Spider are sort of on the right side of history here? Can you be devil's advocate and say, no, this guy doesn't deserve an A+ because?
Yeah, I mean, I see what they're getting at, I guess, because of if you compare it to anybody else's season, it's probably not going to be the greatest. Statistically, obviously, with 5 wins, that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. So I can see where they landed on a B-, but I feel like Like if I was Justin Marks or somebody at Trackhouse, I would give him an A+ because I feel like he's accomplished everything that they put him in Cup to accomplish. He got him a playoff spot. He's won all but one of the road courses, and he's figuring out the ovals slowly but surely. That's going to take time, but to largest point, to run 10th at Kansas and it not be a fluke 10th either is a big deal. And I feel like he's steadily chipping away at that. So if I was handing him a grade, I would say for his season, he's accomplished everything he needed to. He's checked all the boxes and he's steadily improving on the tracks he's struggling on. So I'd give him an A+, but I can see where maybe they would give him the B- if they were just looking across the board.
And I thought maybe it was rage bait. And again, like my shtick is that I don't like, SVG, but Trackhouse hasn't brought a lot of speed to the track this year. They just haven't. I think Ross Chastain would be considered an overachiever with the equipment that he's in. And then SVG is not only winning, he's winning by 15 seconds at a clip to the point where Kyle Larson was saying something like, he joked that he wants a tire with less fall off on road courses because that's the only thing that might slow down SVG's performance. This is what we're talking about as a rookie. I took a little bit of, not umbrage, I took a little bit of agreement with them when they said if SVG is going to run any Xfinity races again next year, stop having him run road courses in Xfinity. This guy doesn't need any more reps on places where they turn left and right. And I know the Xfinity car and the Cup car are totally different, but just to get him on that muscle memory of just turning left for a race, I think that would probably be better for his development. But Jesus Christ, I mean, I'm close to buying a fucking t-shirt, so I'm giving the guy, and if it was meant to be rage bait, mission accomplished. I don't know like Bagley too well. I don't know if he's one of those guys that kind of pokes the bear, but he poked this bald, stupid bear, and I thought it was worth mentioning. Back to the race. It's official. The best member of the 22 team right now is the driver of the 11 car. Denny Hamlin is Joey Logano's best fucking friend. And I know it's been beat to death at the beginning of this week. We have the luxury of being one of the last podcasts for NASCAR to drop during the week. So I know a lot of people have beat it up, and I know that Denny and Ross don't seem to have any kind of beef. He knew exactly what was going on. It was a relatively boring race. Moonhead, you were there. You were there at. It didn't seem overly packed in the stands. What was your impression of the race from a spectator before Spider and I talk about it from a TV spectator?
So I had to get home pretty early, but for what I was there, I mean, the attendance talks, I don't think were just people complaining on Twitter this week. Some weeks I will say people are very quick to look at these venues and see a few empty seats and say it's empty, but then really, I mean, there's 100,000s of seats at some of these places, so it looks empty. That said, I've been to Charlotte and I've seen Charlotte packed, and it was not a very big crowd that day. There was not a lot of traffic getting in. Obviously, I guess there were some conflicting events and whatever. But yeah, I mean, being there, it just did not seem like people were as fired up for the Roval as maybe they would be for a race on the oval. But yeah, being there, it was all right to see the start. It's tough to really follow, I feel like, the playoff picture when you're at the track walking around, especially on a road course. So I ended up getting home so I could provide better coverage online. But yeah, I mean, the big takeaway for me was really just the attendance woes. Kind of, it was not I don't think what anybody was looking for. So hopefully they can figure that out. I'd like to see the Roval become a night race if it's going to stick around. I think that would maybe add a little bit more hype to it. Just the visual of it, even if the race is no better, even if the race is a little worse, I think a night race looks better and can generate a little bit more hype. But I don't know, maybe there's something else they could do.
Was this race during the
Panthers?
Did the Panthers have a game during this, a home game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like that might have something to do with it. Like the city
Definitely.
of Charlotte might have been a little bit checked out. We talk ad nauseum about how football impacts people's NASCAR's viewership, like we have in the last couple weeks. But I feel like if there's a home game in that city, football, that's understandable. Like you said, Moonhead, there's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, maybe a night race could bring some juice back to it.
Or just run on the fucking 1.5 mile oval.
That
Like
would be
Yeah,
nice.
run on the track that everyone's excited to see. And that doesn't put the concession people out of business. Like when I say shorten the schedule or do stuff like that, I know that I'm saying that without realizing the downstream effects to the people who, count on the money they make from parking the cars or cleaning the toilets or serving up bojangles or doing whatever. Spider hit bojangles like a fucking crackhead last time we were in Charlotte. So I understand that, but you have a perfectly good mile and a half one that I think people will be excited to see. The only thing I will say is that at one point there was a camera angle to a bunch of people who were watching the race from just outside the chicane where they kind of come back onto the actual oval. They had a leather couch, almost a diamond vision all to themselves, and they had like a great like view of people hitting the turtles on the way out, and I was like, ooh, that'd be sweet. But they brought like their own leather couch like out there. I don't know how the hell they had gotten it there, to be quite honest with you, but it looked like a really cool vantage point, and one that I tried to recreate if I ever do go down to the Roval again. So I don't know, the ratings on it were, we had more viewers watch that race than the previous week's race. So that's fact, but there's no apples to apples comparison on how the Roval did over the last year, because last year it was on NBC where this one's on USA. So it'd be an unfair comparison. So perhaps a little bit of an uptick on a road course that not a ton of people look forward to seeing. I don't, and a wild ending, right? Like to see two guys, or actually three, right? AJ Allmendinger also crossed the finish line in
yeah.
reverse as well. So you don't get to see that a lot during a race. So then to see it happen three times in one race, that's cool for people who are there and watching that shit. And, if you're listening onto the radio and you can kind of get into the points thing, it might have been a really cool experience. I had it as like a middle of the road race, and then all the stuff at the end, because I'm a fucking idiot, like a cat who wants to play with the string, but all the little fireworks at the end was cool for me to see. So that redeemed it. If I had to, I would have definitely had voted yes on Gluck's poll, which I think came out in the mid 50s yeses for that race. But either way, Shane racks one up. Good for him. But it's that Logano, Chastain, Denny thing that has everybody talking. Do you think Denny is being 100% transparent as far as saying that, even in retrospect, I would have rather had taken Ross out by passing him, because Ross is more dangerous in the lead up to the final race, where Joey is dangerous in the final race? Or do you think he's just kind of backpedaling because of his actions with Bubba, giving Joey a fresh set of downs for all intents and purposes, and then his actions with Ross pushing Joey into the round of 8? You think he's being real with that, or you think he's just kind of covering up his tracks? Because if Joey beats Denny in the championship, Jesus Christ, that'll be a fucking really cool day to be someone who comments on NASCAR.
I personally think that Denny was being truthful. I don't think he had the intel that, who was in, who was out in real time toward the end of that race. Whereas Joey, I'm going to ask him about that in our interview, whether
Yeah.
he was aware or not. But Denny, when he said he didn't know, I kind of take his word. I believe him. And obviously, it's easy to sit here in Monday morning quarterback and be like, yeah, he should have, let Ross stay in and eliminated Joey. That's easy to say in hindsight, especially after what we saw Logano do last year. But I don't know. I mean, I think you can, it depends where you sit. If you're a Denny Hamlin hater, I think the last 3 weeks he's given you a lot of ammo to be like, he made a mistake here, he made a mistake here, he made a mistake here. But I don't know. I think that the nature of this playoff format is that it forces and encourages this kind of chaoticness, like we saw. And there's something to be said about watching a race and like every position matters, and you don't know who's, watching the playoff, who's in and out kind of change through the race, especially toward the end there, is really exciting.
And Spider, I don't know if you agree with me, but I can't wait to see what they do when they tweak it. Like talking with Moonhead for a little bit beforehand, if they go to like some sort of modified chase, they're not going to go to a 36 race season, like, a total 36 race point season, or if they tweak this thing, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the tweak. I never said that this was a perfect thing. I just say that Joey Logano is the best at this. I mean, he's run 20th or worse in 3 of the 6 playoff races so far. Joey's run 20th or worse in half of them. And the selling point of the playoffs is you can't take a race off. He took 3 of them off. And give all the credit in the world to Paul Wolf. Give all the credit in the world to fucking the guy who changes his tires. All the credit in the world to Joey, the wheelman. But man, you got to give a little bit of credit to fucking Denny Hamlin for the fact that Joey's having this success. So I don't know. So where do you think he stands with that, with Denny? Do you think there's just a shitload of regret on the horizon for Denny, Moonhead, or do you think Joey maybe even doesn't make a run at the championship for, so this is a moot point?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if Joey makes Phoenix, then Denny's probably going to be kicking himself or really mad that he didn't have that info. But if Joey keeps running the way that they've been running, especially this last round, he's going to have trouble making it to Phoenix, because now this is the round. I feel like we do give this format a lot of crap for it not being legit or whatever, but once you get down to the last 8, like, everybody here deserves to be here. They've run good when it counts. So I don't know if Paul Wolf's going to be able to do strategy magic and get them out of this round. He could. I mean, it's very possible. And if anybody could do it, it'd probably be Paul Wolf. But I don't know. But going back to what Denny said, I was kind of shocked in real time that he just nonchalantly passed Chastain when he could have. Because I was thinking the same way. If I had to pick right now who I was going up against, I'd pick Chastain over the 22. No disrespect to Chastain or Trackhouse, but we talked about it earlier. Like, they have not brought a ton of speed to the track consistently this year. And when you look at Phoenix, Penske, it's just been lights out there the last few years. And with how they ran at New Hampshire a few weeks ago, I'd much rather have a Trackhouse car in the Final Four if I was also in the Final Four than another Penske car. So somebody dropped the ball. I don't know if it falls on spotter, crew chief, competition directors, or whoever, but I feel like Denny was just completely out there on his own there the last few laps, and it could come back to bite him.
23-11 in general, we don't have to get really into the race too much, obviously, because people talked about it in depth, but as much as we're handing out flowers to guys like SVG, we also try to light a bag of dog shit on somebody's doorstep. It's got to be 23-11, right? I mean, to have your 2 guys bumped and then to have Riley Herbst, blow a tire trying to retaliate on Ty Dillon and then talk shit after, Kyle Busch turns him through turn 17 and then get DQ'd after it. It's like, other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? Like, it was one of those days where nothing went right for 23-11. So I think those guys are limping away from the Roval, and possibly including their owner, who just let a very dangerous Joey Logano and gave him some fresh life. And I'm here for that. Like, I'm here for that. And as much as I want to see Denny break this, I want Denny to win a championship. I almost call it a national championship. I want Denny to win a championship. I want that monkey to be off his back, and I want him to just go down as one of the all-time greats who also has a chip. Like, that's what I want. But man, that's exciting for me to come in and say, holy shit, Joey just fucking did it again. Lee Diffie was on Door Bumper Clear. I got to blame Freddie Kraft for this. Freddie is such a fucking slob that Lee Diffie decided to go in a t-shirt and a fucking baseball cap. Lee, do not dress down to Freddie. Freddie and I are very close friends. We're having dinner with the wives next week, so take it with a grain of salt. Lee Diffie should always have a fucking suit on. Should always have like a high collared suit and stuff like that. He did awesome on the show. I mean, the guy's great. I'm very jealous that we haven't asked to have him on here. Just never thought about it. But I have a stiffy for Diffie. Everybody knows that. But seeing him in a t-shirt, I was like, I don't know, like seeing your dad in a fucking tutu. Don't do that fucking shit again. The biggest thing that came out of Door Bumper, and Door Bumper Clear obviously is podcast, runs every week. It's on Dirty Mo Media as well. Freddie was saying how spotters are not allowed to give their drivers updates on where the points are for the playoffs. I didn't know that. Is that just common knowledge to NASCAR fans? I did not know this.
I didn't know this. I didn't know this either, but I thought that during Xfinity that Zilich was being updated in real time. So I feel like it's not consistent. Maybe I'm wrong. Moonhead, help
I
me out
think
here.
maybe they mean like, I think they're allowed to know their situation, but I think what he means is they can't come on the radio and be like, Joey needs one more point or he's out if you've got no dog in the fight, and then somebody barrels off in the corner and runs somebody off the track or lets somebody go or something. I think that's what they mean, because I feel like the only rule, like, they're just talking points, but I think the race manipulation thing is the reason that maybe they can't feed direct updates. It would look really bad if Denny was being told when he's racing Ross, you pass Ross, Joey's in, and then Denny suddenly doesn't pass Ross. I think that's kind of what they're getting at. But a lot of the teams give updates in ways they need to. I mean, we saw the Custer and Bowman audio where they were telling them to save their tires or whatever on the last lap.
For the last restart,
Yeah.
for the late restart on the last lap. And that was just from an OEM perspective, right?
Yeah.
You know, it would be, Cole supporting versus Bowman supporting. So it's one of those things. And they made sure they made the point on Door Bumper that if you're in the hunt, like Joey knew where he was from his spotter, but I don't know. I thought it just caught me off guard. And I think it's up to the driver maybe to have that integrity and not race manipulate. And NASCAR now said, as of yesterday, we're taping this on Thursday, it hits on Friday. So last night, NASCAR said that they're going to meet with the teams before the round of 8 to stress that manipulation won't be tolerated. At a certain point during this week, we will just remind teams, let's not put yourselves or ourselves in jeopardy here, NASCAR Managing Director of Communications Mike Ford said during the latest episode of Hauler Talk. Fans should be coming to the racetrack expecting a straight-up race where each position is fought for, especially at the end of the race. So if we see something or hear something we don't like, we're going to step in, which we have done now several times, so we are aware. And if we hear something, we'll react if necessary. But it's kind of bullshit. Because then they say they look at the late race radio transmissions from Alex Bowman and Cole Custer because their team communications drew attention on social media, and they decided to do nothing to them. So I don't know if these guys, if all it's going to be is almost got you guys, don't do it again, because they were using code, save your tires, do whatever, the Eagle runs at night, whatever the fuck you need to do to have that code get over. I just thought that maybe it would be better just to give everybody whatever the hell they want, and then it's up to the driver to either drive with integrity or race manipulate. And I guess that can be bandied back and forth. You know what I mean? As opposed to keeping them in the dark. I don't know.
I just think they need to be consistent, like you said, Large. It's just like when they have them on the radio like that and it's getting attention and people, clearly the fans can hear that too. I think it forces NASCAR to kind of do something. And when they don't like this, it just opens themselves up to kind of this conversation we're having now. So
yeah. And you know what? I kind of found it fascinating. So I appreciate Freddie for filling us in on that shit. All right. So before we put a bow on what had happened last week, why don't we talk to the driver that we've been referring to as he enters into the round of 8? Let's go 3 wide with Joey Logano. And this brought to you by our good friends here at Dive Bomb. Dive Bomb Industries is designed to perform in the toughest conditions. They make products for the outdoorsman, the hunter, the sportsman, and guys like me. They even have golf polos and everyday wear. I say this every week. Spider and I are huge fans of this. From the boots to fucking their hunting pants, I use as ski pants. We have a bunch of those like hooded microfiber t-shirts that don't show your nipples through them. They're absolutely perfect. And they fit a big guy like me, a regular sized guy like Spider, and it's highest quality that you can find. And on top of it all, you can go and get like decoys and all that shit that hunters need from these guys. It's one-stop shopping. So if you're the type of guy that may not even be that outdoorsy, but you always stop into, Cabela's because you like to see that shit and you always pick stuff up, this is the type of place that you should visit. At least give them a try. And I'm telling you, the golf shirts are elite. So check us out at divebombindustries.com and use the code Rubbin15, Rubbin 15 at checkout. And again, raining here in New York yesterday. I walked my dogs twice, both times with my Dive Bomb fucking boots and my
Trudge
Dive
boots.
Bomb, my Dive
Trudge
Bomb rain
boots are
slicker.
elite.
I can't tell you that I use this product. I endorse this product. Spider feels the same way. We've never given anything to Moonhead from this thing because I don't think he wears clothes well. So it'd just be embarrassing for the company itself. You know what I mean? I think it's a glandular thing. So it's better that Moonhead's not involved with this one. With that, let's go to Joey Logano. All right, guys. So as promised, we have Joey Logano in the house. Joey, how the hell are you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good at the moment.
Round of 8. And the way that you got there is not the typical way once again, right? So let's just get it out of the way, Joey. I have said on this podcast many a time that you're the best Cup driver right now because I measure success in championships. I know other people do not do that. They measure it in wins and other type of metrics, and some people just, do whatever the fuck they want. They do it by car color. I don't know. I measure it by championships. But it's getting crazy how you're now the poster boy for finding a way. Like you find a way to stay alive where others don't. Similar to the way that people can't figure out why SVG is so fucking good, so much better than you guys,
Right.
People are baffled by the way that you find a way. Can you give us an idea of what your heel toe bullshit that SVG does, but Joey does to make it this far in the playoffs every fucking year? I mean, what is it, Joey?
I am scratching my head about how Shane does it. I can promise you that.
I know, yeah.
Golly, he's so fast. But
yeah,
I think and it's I don't want to simplify it too much, but I think sometimes just staying simple is part of it as well. I think I got a really strong team. I think Paul Wolf makes the right calls at the right times. He proved that again this weekend. I don't think there's anyone on the racetrack that calls a better race than Paul Wolf. And I'm the guy that gets to drive his car. I think that helps. I think I've done a good job at being able to make those strategies work. That's another big piece of it, right? He puts me in some pretty high pressure, sketchy situations when he makes those calls, and someone's got to deal with that. And it's worked out most of the time. I also think we've done a good job at handling the big time pressure moments, which that's what playoffs do in any sport you watch. The playoffs are going to put drivers in, or the athlete in general, in these high pressure moments. And not everybody is made out for it. I hate to say it that way. I don't want to toot my horn, but there's certain athletes that have those big pressure moments. They say, give me the ball. I want to be there. I want to take the shot. And then there's others that are like, I don't know. Or they have the attitude of give me the ball, but they can't finish the job, right? They can't make the shot. And whether that's the driver, the pit crew, the crew chief, the road crew, the guys working at the shop, the pressure is on everybody when the playoffs come around. And I'm surrounded by some really strong, mentally strong people. And that's what it comes down to.
So what's your level of confidence? You said all those things, and obviously we saw this last year. There's a lot of similarities in your playoff run. So looking forward, obviously now currently 8th, but you're still alive in the playoffs. Look forward and kind of speak to us on your level of confidence from where you're at right now.
I feel pretty confident in it. I look at these next 3 racetracks, and I think we can win at any one of them. We have won at any of them. So I feel pretty solid about that. Now,
by the way, the next 4 tracks, Joey, the next four tracks, you tend to win that too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's
we got to get there first. It's one step at a time.
Yes,
that's how I do it.
Right.
But I do got to be realistic, right? We are pretty far back in points. We're the furthest one out, further out than anybody ever in this round. So we'll have our work cut out for us to make it from a points perspective. I think we can. I think it would take a lot. I think it's like you got to be top 5 in every stage in every race to make that happen. But we can do it. If there's 3 racetracks, I think we can do it. It would be that way. The easiest thing to do, not the easiest, but the simplest, is just win. Just win the race like we did last year.
Yeah, and I think winning the first round, the first race of this round, is the most important race to win, possibly all season long, because it gives you that 2-week buffer before you go for the whole Megillah, right? So I think that it's penultimate to really win here in Las Vegas. So is a good day for Joey Logano at Las Vegas, a good day, running in the top 10, finishing well, does that then transfer to a must-win scenario? Like, can you say now we can still get in there on points because we haven't started this 3 race, but once Las Vegas is done, if it doesn't go the way that you want and you need to have either a win or to have a very good day, if you have a good day, then it's a must-win situation if we were speaking next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so. I think if you run 8th, 9th all day long, not good enough. I don't think that'll be good enough. I think you got to walk out of here scoring at least 45 points, at least.
And that's a hell of a day. So do you and Paul decide to just shake it up right now and go checkers or wreckers for the rest of this thing? Because you're right. This guy is the mad scientist on the booth, right? He's up in the booth. He's Dr. Frankenstein and you're the Frankenstein monster, right? So do you go to a must-win situation just to say, like, fuck it, let's go balls to the wall, Team Logano's going for the win?
It's hard to make that call now.
Okay.
I think you got to get out to Vegas. We got to see what we have for speed in our car. We got to start the race, and you got to leave some things just up for an audible at some point, right? Like you got to see where you're at and how things are going. But at the moment, if you're sitting here on Wednesday at Team Penske, you'd say, okay, we still have a decent shot at pointing in. You don't want to throw away that opportunity yet, right? You have 2 avenues of getting there right now. Let's not cut it off, right? And cut one of them off. Like we still have a shot. Like I said, it's a long shot. It's going to be harder for us than anybody else to get there because of our point situation. But we've been here before. Been here many times. That's what gives me so much confidence is I'm like, well, yeah, shit, I've been here. I'm comfortable here. I wouldn't know what to do to the other side of it.
Right.
And in this race this past weekend at Charlotte, how aware were you of the playoff implications in real time as the race was coming down to an end? I know Denny was interviewed after the race. He mentioned that he wasn't wise to like playoff implications and who was on the outside, who was on the inside. Do you also owe him a thank you for keeping you in and Ross out?
Maybe 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. I saw some people on Twitter suggesting that Denny should have kept Ross in and tried to keep you out just because of like your ability to just run the table like we saw last year.
I mean, listen, to answer your question, I knew because I was involved in it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I was the one that was going to be in or out, and we were tied going into the final corner there. So, my fate was in Denny Hamlin's hands, right? Whether he was going to pass the one or not. And I was pretty convinced, if I'm being honest, I was pretty damn convinced that on the last lap, they were all stacked up behind the one. And I was like, no one's going to pass them. They're just going to ride behind them to keep me out. And then Denny, like the one missed the corner and then, in turn 7, and that allowed the 11 to get underneath him. But then I saw him going down into the back chicane. And I saw how far the 11 was ahead. I'm like, oh, well, he can't do nothing from that far back. He's too far back. Anytime I think that with Ross, I'm wrong. I think he's too far back to do something. I'm like, never mind, here he comes. And he was obviously got Denny there. So a wild turn of events, crazy. But I said it after the race. That's what playoff racing is, right? That's the excitement that this type of format brings to the table. And we're all talking about it. What would we be talking about if we didn't have this playoff format? Shane Van Gisbergen waxing everyone's butt by 20 seconds again?
That's where I gotta step in. You've said on a couple of times on TV that Shane Van Gisbergen just waxed my butt. As a very hairy man, Joey, I have a lot of hair from the neck down. I've actually had my butt waxed by a woman who I tip very heavily because it's a tough road to hoe back there. And you have to come up with a better because the symbolism of Shane Van Gisbergen applying wax to Joey Logano's ass and then just ripping off sheets of thick black Italian
Maybe
hair.
some a different way.
It fucks with me, Joe. So we're working on that one. All right. If you
It's
don't
an
mind, we're
interesting
gonna.
visual. That as
Yeah.
bad as everyone just thought about that. Like
Yeah.
you said that, and now everyone
Yeah.
thought it, and
Yeah.
now
Let's get a palate cleanser
for that.
here. When
Yeah.
you come around the final turn and you're going towards the checkered flag, and you look to your right and you see two of your competitors in reverse, is that something that is just so foreign and so wild? You're like, what's going on? Are you so plugged in on what's going on with your spotters that you knew that these guys were doing what they're doing? At that time, what kind of a weird experience is that, passing two guys who are essentially going the wrong way?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it happening right in front of me, right? So
Right.
I seen it. I knew my point situation, and once I saw the 48 past both of them, and I thought, okay, then that's what I needed, right? Like that was the points gap that I needed to make it in. Really, if it stayed the same, I was going to make it in. That's why he made the move. So I felt like, okay, I'm all right. And then I was like, coming across the line, like, well, I might as well grab a couple spots. They're right here. But really, I was more nervous about them like losing control in reverse, or like pulling a cop stop and swinging it around and then just clobbering me there. And like, what if I didn't make it because of that? Right. So all that stuff went through my mind as I was watching it. And I was like, get as far to the left as possible just in case.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, after your championship last year, you were gracious with your time. You came on and spoke to us about how awesome the current playoff format is. Hypothetically, and I know there's been a lot of rumors about maybe the format changing as soon as next year or in years to come. Do you think for Joey Logano's resume, when it's all said and done, it would be more beneficial to win again in this current playoff format, or another maybe potentially new one that they come up with in a future year?
You want me to be honest with you?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I don't care. Because you know why? The trophy's the same size,
Yeah.
the check's the same size, and the stat still says champion. The rules are the rules, right? Like they were given to everybody. We all started at 0 in Daytona, and everybody's found their way to get this far, right? And how you get to the next level, everyone's got to strategize and figure out how they do that. And everyone's in a different points position, like we talked about, to do that. So the rules are the rules, and you just got to play them from there. So to me, a champion's not any different depending on the format. To me,
Yeah.
I know everyone's going to say, well, that's because you won them all this way. I know. I hear it all the time. I don't look at it that way.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I mean,
if they do change the format next year, would it be great to win it? Absolutely. It wouldn't be any less great than winning it this year, though, or more great. It's still the same. It's still a championship. And I measure athletes off of that. I just do. Teams and greatness are off of rings. How many rings do you have? How many, like you guys watch a lot of other sports, obviously.
Yeah.
What's the question people always bring up? How many rings you got?
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I'm watching the Yankees, and I'm devastated that Aaron Judge has been on the team for 10-plus years, and he's not going to have a ring. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't know. It doesn't look good. So, yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's a testament to the era you race in. Like you said, they set the rules. It's on the driver to answer that. So you've proven that you can do that time and time again, which has been super impressive.
It's a team sport, though, to your point, right? Like, is Aaron Judge a great baseball player? Obviously, yes. But everything has to be there. It's a team sport, right? So, you got to look at all that as well. I'm in a great place. I got great people around me, to the point we were talking earlier, being surrounded by mentally tough people, right? That's what's made us strong in this type of conditions that we're in right now. That's what's helping. That's what helps us get all the rings.
Is NASCAR top heavy though? Like you talk about team sports, and then I look into the final 8 and I see 300 cars, 3 Joe Gibb cars, and 2 Penske cars, right? I mean, that's so top cream of the crop for it. Is there something that can happen where we can see some of these less elite shops kind of sneak their way into the final 8? the playoffs do create a platform for guys who are in like 2311 and Trackhouse to get some playoff reps, certainly. But then when it comes down to crunch time, it seems like it's that top heavy nature between the three big boys, Penske, Gibbs, and Hendrick. You know,
I mean, it's much less that way than it's ever been, right?
it's better. It's better now as far as
Is
parity.
Well, I don't know if it's better. I mean, there's more parity than ever, is what I'm saying. Like when they went to the next gen car, I mean, that's brought everybody a lot closer together. All you gotta do is look at the stats to see the parity, right? Like there used to be, drivers that would win 9 races a year and have 20 something top 5 finishes. The next gen era, especially as we've all been racing the same car now for a few years, the field just keeps getting tighter and tighter. There's more cars that can win. It's harder to get a top 5 finish. It's harder to win a race because you can't. We used to have enough speed in our car that we can go out there and make a mistake and still drive through the field and get back into the top 5. No problem. Now you make a mistake and you put us back in 20th, you're probably going to finish 20th, maybe 15th. Right? Like it's that close and that tight now. So I don't know how you can bring more parity into it. And I also don't think that's going to make better racing, right? Like the best racing is when cars are different speeds. And the tire fall off lately has been helping that piece a lot. But your car's got to go different speeds. It just has to. You can't pass somebody that's going the same speed as you. It's impossible.
Yeah. Last thing I got for you, Joey. Following your championship run last year and then success this year, do you have any playoff rituals? Or like once the playoffs start, do you do anything differently going into the race than you would for a regular season race? Something tells me no, you're just always locked in. But I guess, is there anything you've done kind of last year in your championship run and then you've done replicated this year?
No, I don't think much changes. I don't have rituals, and I'm not superstitious.
Yeah.
I'm like anti that. My schedule clears up some, probably a little bit. Like it seems like there's less asks that come across the table. And then I don't know. I do feel like the intensity ratchets up, right? And like you can't manufacture the pressure any other way, right? And I think that has a large effect on me. And I love that. Like you kind of get to this moment, you're like, yeah, all right, I'm still in. Like, all right, here we go. Like, let's not waste it. Like you're just this close. Like you'd hate to waste this opportunity to get to the round of 8 and not make more of it. So, I think that pressure is probably what drives me the most. Is that just knowing that I'm right there. I'm close.
All right, so then I'm going to ask you about the boos. When you got done and you all of a sudden turn around, you're like, who are they booing? And you almost looked up at the thing. You're like, did Denny just do something crazy or something? And the guy's like, no, I think they're booing you. Is there a point where you embrace that shit? And we spoke about it last time. Is there a point where you hear that, you turn your hat backwards, and that's when you become Joseph Logano, and you say, go fuck yourself, everybody, like you do something like that? Do you want to turn heel at some point with the boos, or is it just something, if they're booing, they're paying attention?
No, I don't want to do that because I always want to be true to who I am. And I don't want to let somebody that doesn't know who I am affect my character. That's the facts. I was surprised. Honestly, they put me on TV and I looked up and was like, what are they booing about? Because I was like, what happened here? And then I looked up and I'm like, oh, that's for me. I'm on TV. I'm like, that's for me. I'm like, people hate me. What? And I thought, what did I do? You
didn't do anything. I
was confused.
Yeah.
And then at that point I was like, well, screw you, I'm still in. If you hate me now, well, watch this. I don't get it. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm misunderstood in a lot of ways. I don't know what it is, and I hate I'm sure there's many ways, but like I look at comments on social media to try to figure out like, okay, why is it? And then people say, oh, it's just your smile. I'm like, well, what do you want me to like not smile? Like not be me? Like I'm not going to turn into somebody different because somebody else says something about me, right? I'm going to be who I am. The people that matter the most to me are the ones that know me the best, right? The people I love, my family, right? My team. That's what matters the most, right? And I feel like within the industry, people know me really well. right? Like the inner circle of the NASCAR industry knows me. That opinion matters. But if you've never really met me, I I hate to say I don't care, but I care less a little bit, and I think anyone would feel the same way.
Yeah, no, I think so. Unless, of course, you wanted that shit. Like sometimes Denny embraces it. I beat your favorite driver. I beat every one of your favorite drivers 3 times for a championship so far. I mean, that's something that you have the right to say. Like you do have a certain.
Yeah, but I don't need
You
to.
have a clapback. Yeah, no, you
I
certainly
don't
don't.
need to.
I
But
want it. Like I want the Joseph Logano
I
hat
know.
backwards, dark fucking beard, like when Hulk Hogan went heel. That's what I want, Joey. That's what I
I know
want.
you want. I'm just not that guy.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
not.
I hear you. Yeah,
And also my kids watch too, and I'm like,
that's
I
true.
gotta set a good example for my kids, Like I don't want-
It's tough, yeah. To be up there,
my
right
oldest
here,
son already
assholes.
my oldest son talks more shit playing basketball against me already. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. Joey, you were such a hot prospect coming into the Cup Series. Before we let you go, I just want to ask, where should we be in our exuberance for Connor Zilic? Like when you see, I think you're a very good judge of talent and whatnot of some of these kids coming in. Obviously, Shane came in and we all knew him, right? Because we were able to look at New Zealand footage. But with Connor at this highest level, what's your take on him coming in? Because he's going to be a huge storyline going into next season, as he already is this season.
Yeah, I mean he's great.
Is he the real deal?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
He'll be a champion someday.
Okay.
When that is, I'm not sure. But he's a very well-rounded race car driver from tracks perspective. Is he going to have to go through a learning curve in the Cup side? Sure, because everybody in the Cup level was a standout in Xfinity, right? And if you might argue, well, maybe not. Well, a lot of them had to race against the Cup guys in the Xfinity series back then, right? Which they don't have to anymore. So your stats are going to look a lot different now because the best aren't racing in the Xfinity series like they used to on Saturdays all the time. So maybe you'll look at some of that stuff differently, but he'll have a little bit of a learning curve. There's no doubt. Is he coming in better than anyone I've seen in my career? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think he's the only driver in the Xfinity series that goes up against Van Gisbergen on a road course that could even be close. Right?
Yeah.
Like they can see him and beat him. So he's fast from that side of it. I just think it's the details, the little things that he's going to have to learn. And there's only one way to do it, to learn it, is just to go out there and do it. Right? Like you can get all the information and look at data and talk to veteran drivers or teammates or whatever. You got to just go do it sometimes to learn. You got to learn some things the hard way.
I just wonder if it's a recency bias on our part, but this kid's a fucking legitimate stud. I'm glad to hear someone like you say it as well.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to let you get back to trying to win a championship. This is Joey Logano. Like him or hate him, it doesn't matter. He's got a bunch of rings and you don't. Joey, I appreciate your you taking the time to spend some time with Spider and I, and we'll talk to you after you win the Cup. All righty, bro?
All right, guys. Had fun.
Thanks, Joey.
All right, so that was Joey Logano. Obviously, we appreciate Joey's time. It's weird because if you guys know how it works, we normally have a gentleman that we go through from NASCAR. His name's James Hallis. He does a great job, and he's the guy that picks up talent for us. If we don't have a personal relationship with the driver who we could just kind of call and say, hey, can you come on the show? Moon has some relationships with drivers. He's been able to step in and, make that process a little bit easier for us. But in general, it comes from James and NASCAR. And I think Joey made a pretty salient point. During the playoffs, it's not like there aren't a lot of requests, but I don't think they make them to the driver because everyone's so locked in, right? You're locked in now. So to have a guy like him, who, by the way, is in the hole, right? I mean, he's 8th out of 8. He's got a lot of shit to concentrate on before he goes off to Vegas. So for him to carve out time for us, I think it's wonderful. And please take my advice and stop saying that SVG waxed your ass. Let's talk about some headlines. What the fuck? I don't know AM Racing that well. I know that AM Racing has only been around like 3 or 4 years, but we spoke about them in depth last year after they ditched Haley Deegan. I remember I said it's not fair because they're going to bring in Joey Logano. They brought Logano in to drive their car, and they're like, we'll see how the car is, even though Haley behind the wheel and Joey behind the wheel isn't apples to apples. But either way, that's a place where Harrison Burton went, and he made it into the playoffs for them for the first time in the Xfinity Series. Last night, Harrison Burton had announced that he's leaving AM, and he wrote a very, very nice thing about them. Team record, top 5 and top 10 results in the organization's first trip to the Xfinity Series. I'm proud how we show up each week, compete at the highest level, and finish strong. But either way, Harrison Burton was the first to release it too. His release came before AM, which leads me to believe that it's Harrison that's making the move, not AM that's kicking him out. I think they'd have to be happy with Harrison's results this year. And another thing is Harrison, in the picture that he put with the announcement, he didn't have any Ford patch on his fire suit. So that all kind of plays into the rumor that he's probably going to be racing for Sam Hunt Racing next year, which is a Toyota shop. Somebody had said, no, maybe he'll be the face of this new, Ram program down in trucks. I don't know if that would be something that the kid would want to do, but it looks like an OEM thing over to Toyota and Sam Hunt Racing would be most people's guess. How do you feel about Harrison Burton, AM Racing, and all this shit, Spider?
I love Harrison Burton. He's one of the Xfinity guys I root for, both him and Jeb. The Burton guys are awesome.
Yep.
Harrison's one of the easiest dudes to root for, one of the nicest kids you'll meet. And I've enjoyed rooting for him this year. Like you said, Large, he inherited a seat that was kind of in limbo, and he did a great job. He brought this team to the playoffs and provided them with some kind of consistency. So I'm interested what this means. Honestly, I didn't expect Harrison to leave. I remember when we had him on the show around this time last year, he mentioned that his phone was ringing after his win, but he wanted to go to a team that he thought appreciated and was a good proper fit for him. And that's what AM Racing was. And that's what we saw this past year. So I do think it was a success. And I agree with you. I think he's leaving on his own terms, just because I think he could have stayed if he wanted to. Where I disagree with you is I think it might not be Sam Hunt Racing. To me, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm some sort of Xfinity expert. To me, that doesn't seem like a great move. And again, I'm not super familiar with Sam Hunt or AM Racing. But to me, if I'm Harrison Burton, the only move I'm doing like this to leave AM Racing in a seat that you've proven has been pretty successful would be to go to JRM's Xfinity program and go drive for Junior. But I'm not necessarily saying that's going to happen.
Yeah.
To me,
but you would hold off for something like I would say that from the outside, it looks like the Sam Hunt Racing and Moonhead, maybe you can confirm or deny this, would seem like a slight step up. I know that as far as OEMs are concerned, Xfinity, Ford has lost a lot.
I was going to say,
there's not a lot of Fords left. So, it seems like not lateral move, a slightly better move. But to your point, a kid that won a race in the Cup Series, even if you call it a fluky race, kid with a pretty good or a great pedigree, maybe he would hold out and we'll see him sign some place that's a little more impressive than Sam Hunt Racing. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's what I would like to see. In a perfect world, he's holding out in JRM. He's driving for JRM next year in some capacity. That would be like what I would like to see. But I don't know. To me, the Sam Hunt Racing thing, not a shot on them, just doesn't do much for me. Like, he was in a good seat to begin with. I'll root for him indefinitely, but if you put him at JRM, that's even more incentive for me to root for him.
Yeah, absolutely. What is Sam Hunt Racing to you, Moon?
I do agree with you, Large. I think it's a slight step up. I think, though, to me, this move tells me that there's some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. If it is the move, obviously it's not confirmed. He could be going to I've seen rumors of JRM too, which would make total sense. But the Sam Hunt deal, I feel like Harrison wants to be back in Cup, it seems like. And I think this year has proven that, he's capable of driving a race car and doing really good things with it. We saw him get the win with the Wood brothers as well. I think going to Sam Hunt, maybe if that's where he ends up, I think it would be because he sees some sort of avenue back to the Cup Series and a better chance to win in the Xfinity Series with Sam Hunt. And I think that's just the facts. I think AM Racing's done really well this year, but I think a lot of that is Harrison's doing. Not a knock on the team, but I don't think they have the resources. I think Sam Hunt really, they bring a lot of big names into Sam Hunt through Toyota. And yes, it's not a Gibbs car, but We've seen Corey Heim run well. We've seen Dean Thompson, who really didn't have the best stint in the truck series, get in the Sam Hunt cars and really turn some heads in Xfinity as well. So I think you take a guy like Harrison, who's hungry, who's had a good year and maybe lesser equipment, and give him that bump in equipment, he could go out there and be pretty dangerous. So I think it'd be a good move if it comes true.
I think that one of the things too is with Zilich leaving, like everyone is happy and who are still in the Xfinity series, right? It's sort of, it's not like there's a bunch of, walkovers there too. I mean, you still have Justin and, Jesse and Austin and all those guys. So there's a lot of, wood to chop there. But I think with Zilich leaving, it does cause a little bit of a shakeup. So perhaps even on the 10 races that Zilich happened to win, it becomes more of a jump ball for everybody else, in Xfinity next season. And Harrison wants to be part of that. And he also just got married, so maybe his wife made him do it. I mean, I've done worse shit for my fucking wife. Carson Hocevar, in the most Carson Hocevar headline ever, bought his hometown Chili's. I mean, that fucking guy, he walks the walk. He bought the Dente. We've mentioned on it a couple of times that we've had drivers rather, other athletes that are not connected with their sponsors. Like I'm telling you right now, me and Spider both wore Dive Bomb yesterday. Just trying to make a point of that. There are a lot of drivers who don't eat or go to the places that are on their car. Carson Hocevar is a fucking Chili's addict. That's a perfect marriage for him. And it could be the thing that makes Chili's follow him no matter where the fuck he goes. You know what I mean? If they're going to spend money, there's only one person they should spend it on. That's no dig on Justin Haley because he started the whole Dente thing and then it transferred to Carson, which it was supposed to. It wasn't like Justin did a bad job. Carson's a Chili's guy now. I mean, now and for the rest of the time, he fucking owns one.
I love it. I love it. He's literally like the GM of a fucking Chili's if he wanted to. Imagine him just walking in, like going behind the kitchen and stuff, just like expediting orders.
It's fucking awesome.
This really is awesome. To me, this kind of, it's kind of like a coming of age thing for me. It's like, to me, there's nothing better than when you're like kind of 20, 30, kind of like where I'm at now, I guess. And Carson Hocevar is now. You're like still a kid, but also still an adult, and you're kind of getting real money, like checks and stuff, and you have a little bit of Now, I'm not saying like I could sit here and just walk down the street and buy my local fucking Chili's.
Right. Yeah.
That's not what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's fun when you go from like a kid to an adult and you have real money to buy whatever the fuck you want. In this case, at Chili's, we've seen Hocevar just see like cars on Facebook Marketplace and be like, oh, that truck looks sick. Let me go buy that. I love this move. It's kind of like every kid's dream to just be able to have money to buy whatever the hell they want. And what better than a Chili's? And like you said, Large, I think it's one of those moves that I think Chili's will likely be with Hocevar for the long run after this move because he seems bought in. Like I remember them. I went there to a Chili's in Tennessee to film the Ride the Dente music video.
I remember that.
And they were speaking praises about Corey LaJoie, and they seemed really happy with what they had gotten out of Corey LaJoie. And now you fast forward this year and just see what came out of like the Carson and Chili's collaboration. It's just been awesome. It feels like every race, as soon as he's getting on the plane back, he's got his Chili's to go catering ready. Like it's a match made in heaven.
And it just doesn't make sense all the time. I don't know of another case where it makes sense because it's not like Briscoe's going to buy a Bass Pro Shop.
That would be sick.
They're fucking huge, right? It's like buying a full strip mall. But this is actually doable. You can buy a Chili's, and perhaps he can make it. I don't know much about Portage, Michigan. I'm assuming it's a shithole just like Mexico City. That's a joke. That's what Carson called fucking Mexico City. But it could be profitable for him too. So if it's profitable and if it puts Chili's in bed with him as somebody who can bring sponsorship to a different shop, if he decides to move shops at some point, God, it's a fucking genius move. What do you think about it, Moon?
So I think it came out he was trolling. I think.
Oh,
no! Tell me that's not true. I'm totally got.
So.
I love the fact that Moon never corrected us either.
Well, I didn't want to jump in because I had to double check, but I thought I saw and I found it here, a Kelly Crandall interview, and I don't It sounds like what happened was a radio station in his house or in his hometown wrongfully posted that Chili's was closing. And it was like this clickbait article.
Uh-huh.
So then he decided when he found out it wasn't closing, he would just create his own clickbait and say that he bought it. And then when it came time to pay, just be like, oh, no, I actually didn't buy it. And he was fighting clickbait with clickbait is what he was saying. So I don't think he's
Oh.
officially bought it yet. Now,
I didn't even read
wouldn't
the
put it
article.
past him. I didn't either. He did like a media during his media appearance. One of them asked it, and I think it was Kelly Crandall. I could be wrong. She posted like a video asking the question, and I'm pretty sure he was just fighting clickbait with clickbait. Which props to him. I think what a way to battle clickbait. But I don't think he ended up actually buying the Chili's.
This is 100% on me then. Well, obviously, because I'm the old guy. But I think it's one of those things where my mind started fucking doing all the permutations and combinations of the management team at Chili's now being able to brand stuff with it, him actually being able to pull a profit out of it and then have some long-term marketing deal. I was so fucking happy for him with something that did. It's, I'm going to be honest with you guys here. I don't know if this is for a NASCAR podcast. I don't know if I'm beating off to AI or real people anymore. Honest to God, like I can barely tell the difference. So the fact that I got by fucking Carson Hocevar. So you think that Harrison Burton is really leaving AM Racing, or did I get fucked up there too? You just don't know. I think NASCAR is adding horsepower. I got to fucking double check that.
Large, I got too. If it makes you feel better, I saw this.
No, I got
too.
you. Yeah, I mean, I'm on. So what? I got to take the heat for this one, Spider. This one's all on me.
All right.
I was hook,
I
line, and
appreciate
sinker.
you falling on the sword for us.
You're absolutely right. So NASCAR added horsepower, which probably should have been something that we led the show with. But instead of getting into it right now, I love the fucking story that came out of, what was it, a Family Dollar? It's like a Family Dollar in Charlotte. I had seen that. I didn't spend much time on it because I was too busy thinking about Carson Hocevar possibly buying a Chili's. But so it seems like there were two young ladies in a Family Dollar. One of them had complimented the other lady's NASCAR t-shirt. It supposedly started out pretty, civil or friendly. Oh, thank you so much. And then the woman's like, you know what? Give me that t-shirt. And the lady's like, are you kidding me? I don't want to give it. And please stop me if this is not the way that you had read the article. And the woman's like, all right, you stay here. Went out to her car, got the fucking Thule, got the fucking, so came in with a gun. Everybody gets pushed to the back of a Family Dollar. One like teenage girl doesn't escape. She has like the gun pointed to her head while the girl's in a fucking fetal position. I don't know what happened. I really don't give a fuck if the woman got caught or whatever. What t-shirt was that? Can we just think about what t-shirt would make somebody want to shoot up a fucking Family Dollar for it?
Captain Leg.
It's got Captain Leg t-shirt.
I was gonna say a John Hunter, Eric Jones, Family Dollar, fucking.
Oh yeah,
over a graphic tee, something.
Yeah. I wonder if this story resolves itself where no one's hurt, but a lot of people are scared, and the woman who pulled the gun out does get punished to the extent of the law. Do you think whoever's t-shirt it was, they can use that as a little bit of as promotion? Listen, you got to buy these things. People are shooting people in fucking Family Dollars to get the new Ryan Blaney. You know what I mean? Like the Ryan Blaney fucking Body Armor limited edition t-shirt. Probably shouldn't say that because they're one of our sponsors. But you know what I mean? Like that's fucking wild. No?
I would love to know whose what shirt it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a critical detail.
The last person that was put to death in the United States, I believe, was maybe in Indiana or Illinois. And guy was an absolute scumbag. But for his last meal, because I'm fascinated with last meals, he had the Taste of Italy or the Tour of Italy from Olive Garden. And I was wondering, can Olive Garden use that? Like the last thing this guy wanted before he fucking spun off this mortal coil was our combination of fettuccine Alfredo, chicken parm, whatever the fuck it is.
Unlimited breadsticks.
Yeah, but the guy I think was a cop killer. So you really can't glorify his story.
Yeah.
But this is one where if there's no harm, no foul. It's similar to what Daniel Suarez inadvertently had done by showing the picture of the Blazer. It's kind of a Chevy ad. Like, is this an ad for the Eric Jones limited edition Guns N' Roses t-shirt? Remember that fucking thing that he had out? He had the Guns N' Roses scheme. I love that. Like, is that worth maybe shooting up a fucking Family Dollar. Either way, people say that NASCAR is dying. I think it's fucking alive and well. You just got to show up to the right fucking Family Dollar at the right time. You know what I mean?
Dude, I think that this is old. Maybe we're going back to the old school. Maybe, honestly, put our tinfoil hats on. They said they were hiring that marketing agency to try to bring some of the edge back or whatever. Maybe this is just a big ploy
We're taking their
to bring
bait.
everybody back in. You know, maybe
We're
they're
getting
gonna have
got
people
again.
Get
robbing
back
each
to the
other.
roots.
Yeah,
I don't believe anything now.
That's not a
This
bad
whole-
theory.
My whole fucking life is a lie. Like I was like, was Denny being real? You know, I'm asking Joey some weird questions, and now I'm just fucked up all over the place. We have more horsepower, guys, next year. So they're increasing horsepower to 750. NASCAR will go from 670 to 750 at tracks under 1.5 miles and road courses next year. So we're going to see more horses at Bowman Gray, Coda, Phoenix, Darlington, Martinsville, Bristol, Watkins Glen, Dover, Nashville, San Diego, Sonoma, North Wilkesboro, Iowa, Richmond, Loudon, Gateway, and the Charlotte Road Course, the Roval. That's substantial. I mean, we need more horsepower on these short tracks. I think maybe it starts to cure what was ailing some short track racing. And then tracks without the horsepower increase would be, super speedway or plate tracks like Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, Indy, Michigan, Pocono, and then 1.5 miles like Charlotte, Chicagoland next year, Homestead, Kansas, Las Vegas, and Texas. Is this this is a good sign, right? It's I think we universally like the idea that NASCAR is doing this, but is this a really good indication that NASCAR is listening to its fan base?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I said it last week. I think it's a great indication. And for the longest time, NASCAR was just so content kind of punting on the responsibility for some of the racing we've seen at some of these tracks that they will be making these changes at. For the longest time, I feel like the go-to excuse was just, we're working on tires. We're going to do something about the tires. We're changing tire wear, etc. Enough about the tires. At some point, NASCAR had to say, what can we do about the cars themselves? And this is a step in the right direction. And to answer your question, Large, yeah, I think they are listening to fans. The last couple weeks seems like it's been a weird kind of change of pace in the NASCAR landscape where NASCAR fans can seemingly almost like speak things into fruition, whether it be the horsepower, which I feel like we've talked about. We've had so many drivers come on our show and be like, I'd like to see horsepower increases, or you see it on Twitter after the races. So yeah, I think this is a massive step in the right direction. Hopefully will result in these tracks that are going to be changed having more exciting racing.
Is it going to make that much of a difference? Because right away, and again, people like to complain, is it going to be one of those things where like right away people are like, oh, 750, why isn't it 1,000? Like and NASCAR did explain it away saying, hey, listen, maybe we're getting up towards 1,000, but this is an inexpensive way to increase horsepower. All the original parts will not have to be, or will have to be, only a few parts will have to be modified. It will not draw a huge expense for the teams, and we'll get to see how these cars react, right? So then if they react well, and then we want to spend more money to bring the horsepower up even more, then we're going to get even more horsepower down the line. So a step in the right direction. You think it's going to make you think when you're watching any one of those ones that I went through, you're watching Darlington next year, Moonhead, that you're going to notice that difference between 670 and 750?
I optimistically, I'd like to say yes. Realistically, probably not, but it's a step in the right direction. I think everybody's been wanting increased horsepower. Yes, it's not 1,000 horsepower, but I think a lot of people's expectations aren't reality. And I also think horsepower isn't the magic answer to everything. Like there's a lot of other things that they're going to have to tweak as well. But I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. And I think that there will be select tracks that we probably do notice a big difference at, and then some others that nothing changes at.
And so for people who say NASCAR is not listening to the fans, and perhaps they're not, perhaps this is just in reaction to all the stuff that's been going on with the lessened ratings and all that kind of shit. I think next year we're getting one less road course, which is something the fans want, particularly me. And, maybe that's just Maybe that's just a product of circumstance, but either way, we're getting one less road course. We're getting a different playoff system. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but I'm excited to see what the fuck they decide to tweak it to. And we're going to get more horsepower. It does seem like NASCAR is listening to fans. And I don't think you could say that 2 seasons ago. It was just NASCAR actually, just turning a blind eye, focused in on whatever people have been complaining about. NASCAR is more focused on pleasing the networks than they are the people in the stands or people watching at home or the people streaming and all that stuff. Argue that all you want, but it does seem like they're trying to do the right thing by their fans by making these little tweaks. And I hope that it just makes the product even better. Let's talk about what the next product is going to be. But before we go on to Las Vegas, NASCAR wants to remind you that Talladega Superspeedway is NASCAR's biggest, baddest track, delivering heart-pounding action, pack racing thrills, keep drivers 3 wide and bumper to bumper at 200 miles an hour. Playoff implications are on the line, making every lap more intense. Unpredictable finishes mean anyone can take the checkered flag at Talladega. The fan experience is unmatched with camping, tailgating, electric infield energy, and obviously the Boulevard. Tickets are selling fast, so secure your spot now at NASCAR.com. Experience the rush at Talladega. Get your NASCAR tickets now for edge of your seat action. I wish we were going. Secure your seats today at NASCAR.com. I love going to fucking Talladega. So I don't know. It just makes me upset. The Grand Marshal for this week is going to be Glenn Powell. He's going to be promoted. The Running Man, one of our worst working actors currently. There are no trucks this week. Trucks pick up again next week at Talladega with the Lowe's RV Stop 2025. But the Focused Health 302 will be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on Saturday starting at 7:30 p.m. And you can catch all the action on the CW. I think Daniel Hemrick is going to be in the field for that since there are no trucks running. And then the South Point 400 on Sunday, starting at 5:30 p.m. And you can catch all that on USA. And like we had mentioned before, Catherine Legg is going to be in the field. Otherwise, it's all going to be familiar faces. And then next week is when coverage turns back to network TV. So we'll be able to have Talladega, Martinsville, and Phoenix all on network TV. So everyone is looking forward to that. We are 4 races away from the off season. We haven't had one race postponed for rain this season so far. Do you notice that, Spider? Did I just jinx us?
I just
think I
knocked
might've-
on wood, so we should be fine. But yeah, no, it does. I have noticed that, and obviously it's a lot easier to talk about, hey, it's rained every weekend than when it's not raining. You don't really mention it. But no, I don't take that for granted. I feel like the last couple of years, NASCAR has been hammered by inclement weather. So yeah, it's great that this season has been pretty cooperative. Even when it's rained, like Mexico City, we were there and it started drizzling, and I was extremely worried it was going to be Chicago street race all over again. So even when it's kind of been bad, it's still been drivable, raceable. So yeah, everything's been enjoyable. Mexico City, Chicago street race. So yeah, this season we've been lucky with the weather.
Daytona too. Daytona was postponed. Was delayed, but not postponed. But I just remember the previous 2 seasons, it was us talking about Monday Martin, right? We just constantly bringing up the Monday Martin thing whenever there was any kind of postponing. So it's just something I noticed. I was just wondering if you guys thought maybe God is with NASCAR this season. We picked we picked championship 4s before the season started. Does anyone want to change anything on their championship 4? Spider, you have Denny, you have Ryan Blaney, William Byron, and Bell going to the final 4, championship 4. You feel comfortable with that still?
Yeah. Obviously it's weird keeping Larson out, but well, I'm trying to see when Larson's last win has been a long time. Let me see exactly. I was just looking at it. His last win was
I like mine. Moon, you're the only one to have a championship 4 with somebody already knocked out. You had picked Byron, Denny, Logano, and Bubba. Are you? I'll give you the opportunity to replace Bubba right now. But are you good having one guy who is knocked out and now the other guy being firmly in 8th place of 8 going into Las Vegas? Or do you think how do you feel about it now? Do you think Joey still has that magic, or would you change that around?
I mean, looking at what Josh Berry did at Vegas earlier this year in a pretty much Penske car, and then just looking at the trends, not to sound like Larry Mack,
I like it.
I can't go against Logano at this point. That
Okay.
said, the Bubba thing, man, I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan now because I without what he did to
Right.
Bubba at Kansas, I'd still be right. So,
But you'd be wrong because you have Logano.
well, yeah, I guess I'd be
You know
wrong
what I mean?
regardless. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess I was wrong regardless. So, yeah,
You're wrong on
and
there isn't a universe
yeah,
exists where you are right on this one, Moonhead,
I
unfortunately.
guess I'm just gonna have to write it. We'll
Yeah.
be back next year.
So Spider, with him having Bubba out, who do you automatically replace Bubba with? Moonhead has Byron, Denny, and Logano in. What's the easy? I guess it's Larson, right? Just a
Yeah, I mean, I think
Larson or Bell?
the
Bell,
safe
yeah.
money would probably say Larson. I have not included Larson in mine. I'm not discounting like his second place finish at the Roval or Indy. He's run good this year, but it has been a while since he's won. So gone are the days where we see Larson rattle off like close to double digit wins in a season. So yeah, I don't know. Larson, I'm a little bit skeptical of just because it's been a while since he's won. And I feel like every week I come on here talking about how important momentum is. Again, I'm not discounting his second place finish at the Roval, but winning means more. So I don't know. Larson or Bell, I think, is what the smart pick, though, for Moonhead.
Okay. So, and then you agree, you said it from the beginning. If you had to pick Larson or Bell to fill in for that terrible pick you had with Bubba, who do you pick?
I would go Bell. I think.
Bell. I think Spider, you probably agree with him, right? You're a little
Yeah,
skeptical on Larson.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a little for sure. And even
Okay.
like I don't know. Chase Elliott won, but that one. I'm not saying Chase Elliott didn't deserve to win, but that
Hmm.
one he wasn't necessarily the best car. Now, not every race is won by the best car, so I understand that. But yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical of the Hendrick guys.
Yeah. So I actually love mine. I think I'm still good
I
with
think
Bell,
I love
Blaney.
mine. Say mine again, Large.
You are Denny, Blaney, Byron, and Bell.
Yeah, I like where I'm at. The thing where with Denny is like he's at a spot now where 2311's gone. He's just going to be going exclusively. Well, I guess he probably always was racing exclusively with intentions of winning his championship for the first time. So
Right.
that's kind of why I like having Denny in there, just because if we get that finally moment, I'll have him. But yeah, I like my guys outside of that. Blaney, I mean, you could just set your watch to, and then ending this thing at Phoenix, he'd still probably be my pick to win it all right now.
I hear you. Let's pick some. Let's pick some. Picking the Tires brought to you by DraftKings. NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? There's over 100 years of TDs to pick from. For me, it's the next one because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown can bring you closer to cashing in. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NFL right at your fingertips. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. And here's the best part. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Rubbin. That's code Rubbin to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Anybody have any real big feelings about this weekend? Who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first.
Okay.
I like William Byron here. Since 2022 in Byron's 7 races here, he has 1 win, 5 top 5s, 6 top 10s. He's finished in the top 10 all but 1 race here in his recent performances here. Hendrick has been good here. They have a lot of the recent wins between Larson with 2 of them, Byron with 1 of them, and Bowman with another. So I like Byron personally. He's plus 850 right now on DraftKings. I think that's an incredibly fair price.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a guy that I'm pretty I feel pretty good about in terms of the Hendrick cars. I'd put him at the top in terms of confidence level. So but yeah, I like Byron, and he'd probably be my main play. The other thing I want to mention is we had an awesome week last week with NASCAR. I know we kind of got cold there with the pick 6 NASCAR picks for a minute. This week we cashed 2. We ended up winning like close to $500. And then we also had SVG outright as well. So if there's anyone listening, you can sign up with the link in my Twitter bio. Just a $5 lineup. Your first $5 lineup will get you $50 in credits. And then you can use those 50 to tail whatever we come up with. So for now, I'm going William Byron plus 850, but I will have some pick sixes, at least one or two lineups as we get closer to race day. So check out the DraftKings Pick Six app.
I hear you, brother. Moon, you have any feelings? I got some good ones, by the way. I think I have some good ones this week. I feel good about my picks. Go ahead, Moon.
I'm going to do a top 10 parlay with Joey Logano, Josh Berry, and Hocevar. And then, honestly, I think I'm going to do two outrights do one on Blaney and one on Logano, just because of Penske boards at Vegas, how well they ran earlier in the year. And now's the time for them to really kick it into high gear.
I have some stats. I have a couple of dupes with you, Moon, but Joey Logano and Kyle Larson are the only repeat winners at Las Vegas. Joey's won here 4 times, and Kyle Larson has won here 3. Kyle Larson has won 5 of the last 8 stages at Las Vegas, and nobody has taken Larson. Denny Hamlin in September 2021 is the only Toyota driver to win at Las Vegas in the last 11 races. Toyota stinks. This weekend's race is the last of 7 races on a 1.5 mile track, and Toyota is winless in 6 races on 1.5 mile tracks in 2025. Taking all that into consideration, I took Josh Berry for a top 10. And it's not big money. It's plus 115. I took that. I took Denny Hamlin as top Toyota, and it's paying plus 250. The favorite there is Chris Bell. I'm taking Denny Hamlin. And then I took Kyle Larson to win. Kyle Larson, just because he's so dominant at this track, I'll take him at plus 450. And then I did a 4-pick parlay. I took Ryan Blaney head-to-head with Denny Hamlin. So I took Ford over Toyota. Then I took Chase Elliott head-to-head over Chase Briscoe, Chevy over Toyota. And then I took Joey Logano over Chris Bell, Ford over Toyota. And those 3 are going to give me a parlay that's paying plus 666, the number of the fucking beast. So I'm jumping on that. So a 3-pick parlay where I'm going against Toyotas with every other manufacturer. Kyle Larson to win, Josh Berry top 10, and Denny Hamlin top Toyota. That's going to be it for us this week on Rubbin is Racing. Thank you again to Joey Logano for spending some time with us. Thank you very much to all our sponsors, and we will see you guys next week on Rubbin is Racing.
Peace.